Hello, this is Kai Marie, and you're listening to episode 8, season 1 of the Healing Element Podcast. If you are watching this episode on the Healing Element Podcast YouTube channel, please be sure to like and subscribe. If you are listening by audio, please be sure to download today's episode and subscribe to the Healing Element Podcast. Today's topic is how traditional Chinese medicine can help you manage your physical and mental health. I hope you enjoy. Hello and welcome to the Healing Element Podcast, a weekly discussion giving you the tools to understand and heal from intergenerational trauma. I am your host, Kai Marie. To find out more information about the topics discussed today, visit kaimarie.com. Hi, this is Kai Marie, and welcome to the Healing Element Podcast. So excited to have you here with us today. Today, I have a very special guest with me. Before I do introductions, I just want to let you guys know the exciting topic that we have. The topic today is entitled, Traditional Chinese Medicine, how it can help you manage your physical and emotional health. Super, super important, and so happy that we are going to be able to have this conversation today. This podcast is all about healing, and this is a modality that can really help you on your healing journey. My very, very special guest today is Cherie Torrence, and I met her actually on LinkedIn. That's how we connected, and we've had several conversations since then, so I'm very excited to have her here with us today. She is in the field of acupuncture and Oriental medicine for 6 years, and in the medical field, starting as a certified pharmacy technician for over 9 years. She brings extensive clinical experience from a postgraduate study at the Chengdu, is that how I say it?
Chengdu.
Chengdu University and Hospital in Chengdu, China. Cherie uses Chinese medicine, acupuncture treatment skills, and her experience to treat all types of pain conditions such as back pain, digestive health, pre- and postmenopausal, hormonal issues, sciatic, weight reduction, arthritis, and other medical ailments. Cherie, welcome to the Healing Element Podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be a part of this.
Yes, excited to have. I've been waiting to have this conversation with you because I'm so interested in learning more about acupuncture and also the various other uh, recommendations that you have as we begin to really kind of take control of our health and know about natural ways that we can begin to heal.
Wonderful. Well, I can't wait to tell you all the good things of acupuncture.
Awesome. So to start off, can you go over with us some of the various types of traditional Chinese medicine and what led you into this field?
Yeah, great questions. So I had a condition when I was 13 called polycystic ovarian syndrome. So what that is in short is PCOS, and it's under a category of endocrine systems or problems that women have. Fibroids, if you've heard of these things or if you've encountered these things, or endometriosis. PCOS is the silent disease that a lot of women get and they don't know what to do about, and they're on medications. So when I got diagnosed at 13 with PCOS, the doctors put me on birth control and all kinds of medications to help regulate my cycles. Well, I don't know if that really helped. And then as I got older, I still had no idea how to combat this PCOS or what to do with it. But as I got older, the doctors put me on metformin, which is an anti-diabetic medication. And I don't have diabetes, but the sequelae or the consequence of having PCOS is diabetes. So they put me on this metformin. Well, I guess great, but I still had cysts on my ovaries. So it wasn't until I went to naturopathic medical school and then acupuncture school where I could actually see visible differences, as in I reduced dairy out of my diet, and then getting constant acupuncture, the cysts decreased. Wow. And so when I got an ultrasound, that's when I could see, oh my goodness, I no longer have cysts on my ovaries. Wow. Now something's working.
Right.
So there's different, I know you also asked the different types of traditional Chinese medicine. So there under the umbrella of Chinese medicine is acupuncture. And so what acupuncture is, literally these tiny, tiny, tiny needles. 4 of these needles fit inside of one syringe. If we go to the doctor and we're scared to get a shot, 4 of these fit inside. So they're very tiny, they're a hair thin, and this is acupuncture. Another thing people may say, or you may hear, oh, I'm getting gua sha. And you may say, what in the world is that? Well, gua sha is where you go and you have these soup spoons when we go to the Chinese restaurants and we have egg drop soup and we eat it with these spoons. So if you flip this spoon over and you literally rub it on your shoulder or whatever is ailing you, and it feels like it's just tight and the pain is just deep in there, this helps to get it out by increasing circulation.
Wow.
Then we have moxibustion, and a lot of people are like, I've never heard of that. What is that? So moxibustion is literally, it comes longer, but I've burnt it to help my immune system and things. But this little thing, moxibustion, is made of an herb, and the herb is called mugwort. So it's a lot of mugwort packed into this thing. A lot of people say it looks like a whole, in this tube, exactly. And then it's burned to help increase circulation. So acupuncture needles, the moxibustion, and the gua sha, they all help the body to increase circulation so the body heals itself naturally.
Awesome. And for those that are listening on the podcast, you're not able to obviously see what Cherie is sharing with us, but please make sure you go to the Healing Element podcast YouTube channel to watch the video, and that way you can get a visual of what she's showing us today. Awesome. Now, the services that you provide, does it include, so you do a wide range, not only acupuncture, but you also, the other examples that you provided today, are those also included in the services that you use to help people begin to heal?
Yes, absolutely. So if it's, say, for example, somebody came to see me and they had asthma going on, not only would they get an acupuncture treatment, but if they wanted cupping or if they wanted gua sha, if they had asthma and they had pain as well, then they would definitely get these services as well, all included.
Wow. And so kind of walk us through, if someone's coming in to see you, kind of what are usually the first questions? Do you have like fairly like people that like, this is my first time? And what is it typically that you share with them? Is it if this is their first time receiving these type of treatments?
Yeah, that's a great question. Most of my patients are first timers.
Okay.
They've never had acupuncture and they waited on me to get off the cruise ship and they were like, I'm going to try it. I've heard that it's great for me, but I'm only going to let you do it. So most of my patients are afraid of needles. So when they come in, I show them, the acupuncture needle. I let them feel what it feels like. I let them, we have a chat about, okay, it's fine. It's not going to hurt. Kids get this. And so most of my patients have pain. So when they come in, they usually call me on the phone and we have a consultation, or they just come in. And so everybody gets a free 20-minute consultation. In that consultation, we talk about acupuncture, what it's going to do, what you're going to expect, how, what to feel, things like this. So within 45 minutes, you should definitely feel something. You should, if it's pain, the pain should be gone or decreased. If it's hormonal things, you should see a difference. Even if you have more energy, even something like this. So a lot of people, before they even come in, I tell them, well, wear loose clothes, make sure you drink lots of water, and eat something light. Just because we're increasing circulation, and after the treatment, I wouldn't want my patients to pass out because they're so relaxed. So I get those questions often.
Wow. And you said that also you have some children that also receive acupuncture. Is there like an age that you say maybe that's a little too young for children that are experiencing different types of pain, that you're like, well, maybe if they're maybe teenage or something like that, does the age typically matter?
That's a great question. Nope. Age is any living person can come. I've seen newborns when I was in school. And the newborns wouldn't necessarily get the needles, the parents would hold the newborn, and
Mm-hmm.
I would acupuncture the mother or the parent that's bringing the newborn in, and it creates a synergistic effect. So newborns can come, teenagers can come.
Wow.
Often teenagers come for ADHD or hyperactivity or depression, if they're getting picked on in school and things like
Mm-hmm.
this.
Mm-hmm.
So any human being can come. So no age is too young.
Awesome. And so our whole conversation for this podcast is talking about trauma and
Hmm.
beginning to either start your healing journey, or if you're on it, just kind of encourage you along the way. So if someone is recovering from traumatic experiences, this could also benefit them as well, because right, going through this type of I don't want to say going through, but having this type of service can also help them as well with maybe just connecting with their body, beginning to feel that their body is safe, a safe space, and deserves to be loved and cared for. Just kind of a new experience that they can begin to feel with their body. Would you say that that would be helpful for them as well?
Absolutely. So we all have faced trauma in some form or another. Even with this pandemic, that is a form of
Yes.
trauma.
Yeah.
So oftentimes with trauma, like you're saying, it forces us to go within and listen to ourselves, listen to our bodies, what we want.
Mm-hmm.
If the body is saying rest, then we should listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if not, then this leads to other things such as addictions. This leads to, overeating, which
Mm-hmm.
leads to weight. Trauma is definitely a huge factor. And
Mm-hmm.
acupuncture helps rebalance the nervous system. It helps
Mm-hmm.
us come back to the center and ground ourselves, and helps the nervous system to say, okay, we just need this little boost
Mm-hmm.
to help us keep going.
Right.
So it helps with, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I want you to finish your point when you were saying that's important.
Okay, so it helps with the anxiety, it helps with
Mm,
depression, it helps with the symptoms of anxiety, palpitations or shortness of breath or sadness and weeping and crying. Acupuncture absolutely helps with that because we're getting to the root cause by
mm,
getting to the organs. Not to
mm-hmm.
say something's wrong with the organ, but getting to the organ that controls the emotions in the nervous system.
Awesome. And there's one thing that you had mentioned, and I don't want to like screw up what you said, because I thought it was so, I love how you describe what the acupuncture does. When you said it's kind of like moving the debris. And can you go through that a little bit more, like what that acupuncture does? I love how you explained it. I think it made it so that it was understandable for anybody who would be listening.
Yes, absolutely. So acupuncture comes, if you imagine a stream of water
Mm-hmm.
and you have rocks and trees and debris and tree limbs, which is the same as pain,
Mm-hmm.
trauma,
Mm-hmm.
depression,
Mm-hmm.
anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
menstrual issues,
Mm-hmm.
obesity,
Mm-hmm.
whatever is someone's thing, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak, then the acupuncture needle comes to literally move that stuff out the way
Mm-hmm.
to allow more flow in the body. So sometimes people have a little small rock or pebble, and it takes one or two treatments of
Mm-hmm.
acupuncture, and then they're fine. That's all
Mm-hmm.
they need for
Mm-hmm.
rebalancing, reboot. But if we've been dealing with trauma and things like this for a while, and it's been 10, 20 years, then we may have formed a boulder in our body, so to speak.
Mm.
And so that just means there's hope. That
Mm-hmm.
means there's more sessions of acupuncture to get the boulder moving. And you
Mm-hmm.
can still have flow and things like this, even with a boulder.
Mm-hmm.
So I won't give up on you.
And it's important, right? You want someone that has a type of attitude that you have, and that outlook that no, it is possible for you to experience or go on your healing journey. And
Absolutely.
there's no one that's like a lost cause. Like everybody can walk away from a session like this um, and have it affect them in a positive way.
Exactly. Not only in a positive way, but a lot of people, another thing a lot of people ask, where are there side effects?
Mm-hmm.
No, just added benefits. So if you're coming in for asthma and pain and depression and anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
you'll get all of these, you'll feel better and you'll get all these things, and you'll also get better sleep and better energy and better
Mm-hmm.
clarity. you know, so it's a whole body wellness.
Yeah, I love that. And one thing popped in my head when you were saying about how that starting to kind of move that debris or move that pain. So I also imagine that a lot of things maybe start to surface that we've never dealt with before because the
Hmm.
energy is starting to move. So do you find that maybe some clients too, in addition to giving, receiving the services that you provide, may also have like go to a therapist as well to also kind of work through the issues that have started to bubble up from receiving the treatments that you provide, and then just
Absolutely.
also pairing that with like with therapy sessions as well.
Yes, absolutely. And oftentimes I encourage people to go to therapy because in the acupuncture setting, in 45 minutes, I step out of the room and I let you be, I let you rest. Whatever is going to happen with the person happen.
Mm-hmm.
Most times they take a nap.
Uh-huh.
But I've had patients cry during their session or during, you know, when I come to check on them, they ask for tissue because they are releasing emotional
Wow.
traumas. So
Yeah.
I absolutely encourage, you know, come back for more, get therapy, talk it out, and do things that if you know you like drawing and reading and writing, take time for yourself, even if it's 5 minutes, to do those things,
Mm-hmm.
which is also therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Right. And so when you said, or I'm sorry, somebody is looking for an acupuncturist. I'm like
Mhm.
butchering this word, but y'all know what I'm trying to
It's okay.
say. um, so what would you recommend? What's the first thing that they should look for when they're starting to do their research?
Great question. There are so many, a lot of people just go to anybody who has needles, and that's not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you're not going to a person who's a dry needler,
Mm.
because the difference is lots of differences, but a licensed acupuncturist will have credentials behind their name.
Mm-hmm.
So they may or may not have MSAc, which is Masters in Acupuncture, but if anything else, they will have capital L, capital A, little c.
Mm-hmm.
They are licensed acupuncturists. And those are the biggest credentials that matter. It may, depending on where your region is, it may say registered RAC, which is a
Mm-hmm.
registered acupuncturist. I know when I was in Australia, lots of people had registered acupuncturists, but nonetheless, they are still qualified as long as it has those initials.
Right. And so you will see in the final of this video. So again, this is if you're looking on a YouTube channel, you will see that Cherie has all of the titles that she just mentioned. So we are talking to someone who has received of course, the phenomenal education. She has wonderful experience. So this is someone that I really trust can provide great service to you, and
Thank
also
you.
is just a great resource to have.
Absolutely.
And so now, even though I don't like to date the podcast, but we may still be under quarantine by the time that this video is produced and available for people to either listen to on the podcast or watch on YouTube.
Mhm.
So, what are some things that we can do if we're under quarantine, or just maybe not even under quarantine, maybe some things that we can do at home for our own physical and mental health?
It's a great question. So, lots of things, lots and lots of things. And I know people, like I know myself, I'm about to go crazy being in the house every single
Yes, same
day.
here.
But we're making the best of it. And,
Right.
you know, we're probably getting rest. Rest is a big one. Rest allows the body to reset
Mm-hmm.
itself, it allows for creativity, it allows for expansion for when it's time. So, a lot of us are probably getting rest that we didn't even know that we needed.
Mm-hmm.
So resting is a big one to help our physical and mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Because resting actually helps with trauma, it helps with weight
Yeah.
because the body's resetting itself, the nervous
Mm-hmm.
system is resetting itself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing. We can definitely increase our water consumption. And if we're drinking water, hopefully we're drinking water.
Mm-hmm.
Hope, hopefully we're drinking room temperature water because that also speeds up the metabolism. It quenches our thirst a lot more than cold water.
Oh,
So,
really? I'm such a
yes.
cold water. Like, I like my water to be ice cold.
Oh
I
my
do.
goodness.
I cannot drink room temperature water.
Oh my goodness. So
But
room temperature water.
yeah.
Uh-huh. What were you gonna say?
I tried the room temperature and I just kind of like, I can't do it. I need it ice
Okay.
cold.
Okay. So for you and everyone else who needs cold water, you
Uh-huh.
can still have room temperature water and then add if you like flavored water, you can add
Mhm.
fresh mint to your water.
Mhm.
Mint has an energetic that is cooling. You can
Mhm.
add cucumbers to your water.
Okay.
You can add frozen fruit,
Mhm.
strawberries or grapes, especially since strawberries in season.
Mhm.
And these things still provide a cold water like feel. And it, because it's flavored, it makes you feel like, wow, I can drink this all day. And next thing you
Mhm.
know, you've had a full gallon of water,
Mhm.
but
Right.
it's room temperature.
Right. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna let you know how it goes.
Okay, you do that. So we can increase our water, we can rest, we can have fruits and vegetables. Fruits contain vitamin C and fiber.
Mhm.
So even if we're not moving as much as we're used to moving and exercising, then eating fruits still help us have fiber, which help us eliminate. And that's all part of the flow, right? We want
Mhm.
everything to be flowing.
Right.
So the also if we have nuts, mixed nuts are great, but selenium or a Brazil nut contains selenium.
Mhm.
And selenium is what we need to also help boost our immune system. So all of these things are great for the physical and mental, and reducing junk food. I know it's so hard, especially while we're home and the chips are here and every, why not have the junk food because it's here? But
Mhm.
junk food plays into our psyche. Junk food, we feed the trauma essentially. We feed the depression by having the junk food because it doesn't give us energy and it's wasted carbs, so to speak.
Mhm.
So if we have lots of fruits and vegetables, then this helps the immune system, helps our physical. There's also one other thing for acupressure. I have my acupuncture man here. So if
Awesome.
you have, so here's the kneecap.
Mhm.
On the left side of the kneecap, there's a point here. If you press this point every day on both sides, press this point every day, it helps so many things. It helps the stomach with digestion. It
Wow.
helps us live long. It helps build the immunity. And this
Mhm.
is just every day, press this point every day to help with the immune system.
Wow. Thank you for that. Podcast listeners, you got to go to the YouTube video to check this out. Amazing. I think
Thank
you're just
you.
showing how the body really wants to just help itself. And this isn't taken away from Western medicine. There's a place for all different types of medicine.
Absolutely.
However, I love what you're showing us is that your body wants to become well. And sometimes it just needs like a little touch just to bring it back to balance.
Exactly. Just a little boost. That's all we need. The
Yeah,
body can
beautiful,
heal itself.
beautiful. And so, as we start to wind down, unfortunately, we can go on and on. And I know that we have been talking about doing some live events. So, hopefully, before this video is produced and available for people to listen to and watch, we would have already have done a live session. Um, so, in saying that, maybe there'll be more, who knows? But I'm really excited about that and just kind of providing the information that you have to listeners. So, in saying that, is there any other advice that you would give to anyone listening, watching, who's thinking about maybe after all this quarantine is over,
Mhm.
maybe taking a look at Chinese medicine to help them on their healing journey?
Absolutely. Just to stay open minded and that whatever you're going through, acupuncture can help
Hmm.
as long as you're patient. Well, not even as long as you're patient. As long as you have an open mind, acupuncture will help, and it will work. It does work.
Hmm. And you provided some great tips for us to do at home while we're still kind of waiting for things to get back to whatever normal is going to look like. So
Right.
thank you for that so much.
No
And
problem.
Cherie, if people want to learn more about you and your services, which I highly, highly recommend, how can they
Mhm.
find you?
There is a website,
Hmm.
www.serenityawc.com,
Hmm.
or you can call me or text 910-707-4602.
Beautiful. And we will make sure that all of that is in the description box for YouTube. viewers, and then also for the podcast. We'll put that in the description as well.
Okay.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. Cherie, thank you so much for taking time out to have this very important conversation, really empowering us to really take control of our health. I love it.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
Yes. And so for everyone else, if you would like to learn more about the Healing Element podcast, please visit my website, kaimarie.com. Please do not forget to sign up for the Journey to Healing newsletter. It's a bi-weekly newsletter where you can receive helpful tips on how you can manage your stress. You all have a phenomenal day. Check in soon. Okay. Oh, it's recording still. Shoot.